Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving into a huge shift in cybersecurity, something called the Zero Trust Framework. It's a whole new way of thinking that basically forces us to forget everything we thought we knew about security and instead ask one really powerful question. In our digital world, should we actually be trusting anyone at all? You see, for the longest time, the game plan for cybersecurity was pretty simple. Build a wall. We called it the castle and moat approach. The whole idea was to create this super strong, secure perimeter around our network. Anything outside was bad, a threat. But once you were inside, hey, you were trusted. You were one of the good guys. And this is the question that just shatters that old model. What if an attacker steals an employee's password? Or what if a trusted employee decides to go rogue? Suddenly, all those walls are completely useless. The castle and moat has absolutely no defense for a threat that's already walking around inside. So this brings us to the real problem here. The security that we all thought we had, it was kind of an illusion. Let's break down exactly why this old way of thinking just doesn't cut it anymore. It really all boils down to one word: trust. See, traditional security is built on what we call implicit trust. If you're on the network, you're automatically considered safe. Zero Trust completely flips that on its head. It runs on explicit skepticism. It trusts absolutely nothing and no one by default. So you might be asking, why the sudden change? Why now? Well, because the world we work in has totally changed. The dangers we face today are just fundamentally different, and they make that old fortress model pretty much obsolete. Think about it. An insider attack completely bypasses the perimeter. Stolen credentials, that's like an attacker just walking right in the front door. We're all using our personal phones and laptops for work now, and our data isn't just sitting in one office building anymore. No way. It's scattered all over the cloud. There is no single inside to protect. And this is exactly where Zero Trust comes in. And it's not just a new piece of software you install. It's a completely new philosophy, a brand new rulebook for how we operate in this modern perimeterless world. If you remember one thing from this, let it be this. This is the core mantra, the guiding principle of the entire framework. Never trust, always verify. It's such a simple phrase, but it has these massive implications for security. So, what Zero Trust does is it treats every single attempt to access data, even from a computer inside the office, from your most trusted employee, as if it's coming from some random, sketchy Wi-Fi network at a cafe. Every request has to prove it's legitimate. Every single time. This whole philosophy rests on a few key principles. It means you're continuously verifying who someone is, not just when they log in. It enforces what's called least privileged access, which basically means you only get the keys to the rooms you absolutely need to be in. It uses micro-segmentation to build smaller walls inside the network so threats can't spread. It validates every single device to make sure it's secure, and it demands strict authentication for everything. And, maybe most importantly, it works with an assume breach mindset, meaning it's always designed to contain threats that might already be inside. Okay, that's the theory, but what does this actually look like when you're just, trying to do your job? Let's walk through how this whole verification thing actually happens in the real world. It's not just one thing, it's a bunch of core technologies all working together. First, you've got Identity and Access Management, or IAM. Think of this as the bouncer controlling the guest list. Then you have Multi-Factor Authentication, MFA. That's the secret handshake that proves you are who you say you are. Endpoint Security checks your device to make sure it's not compromised. Network segmentation creates those secure zones we talked about. And the whole thing is being watched by continuous monitoring, which is always on the lookout for anything weird. It's a defense that checks you, your device, and what you're doing. So here's how it plays out, step by step. You request access to an app. The system instantly verifies who you are and checks the health of your computer or phone. Then, a policy engine analyzes the whole situation. Are you in a weird location? Is it a strange time of day? And only if everything checks out are you granted limited access, just to that one thing, with the system watching the whole session. Now, this all sounds incredibly secure, right? And it is, but it's not magic. You see, putting a Zero Trust framework in place has these massive benefits, but it also comes with its own set of challenges. The payoff is huge. It stops an attacker who manages to get in from moving around freely. We call that lateral movement. And that dramatically reduces how much damage a breach can cause. But the trade-off is complexity. Let's be real, it requires some really careful planning, strong policies, and pretty sophisticated tools to get it right. Okay, let's make this super concrete. Picture this. You got an employee who normally works from London, but suddenly they're trying to log in from a brand new laptop in Pakistan. Now, in the old castle and moat world, if they had the right password, they'd probably get right in. The system would just trust them. But a zero trust system? Oh, it sees a whole lot of red flags here. So, what does it do? It doesn't just block the user, but it definitely doesn't trust them either. It verifies. Right away, it challenges them with the second factor of authentication. It scans that new device to make sure it's secure. It analyzes the risk of this very unusual login. And even if they pass all of those tests, it only grants them access to the one application they asked for, not the entire network. The potential threat is totally contained. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. As our work and our data continue to spread out all over the globe, the very idea of a digital perimeter is just disappearing. In a world like that, is this model of never trust, always verify not just a good idea, but maybe the only real path forward for security?